Good morning and welcome to another episode of Law and Order, a program where we discuss the legal scenarios and giving you legal advices to survive in this environment without making it a hassle for your future proceedings. And in the previous episode we were discussing about study options with regard to foreign countries, and we were giving advices, and today also we are going to have a continuation of that topic. And to do the honors with us, as usual, we have Mr. Nuwan Bellanthudawa, attorney at law and licensed immigration advisor for Australia and New Zealand. And thank you very much, sir, for taking part in this program as well. So as in the previous episode we were discussing the basic concerns and requirements and certain mistakes that students do when it comes to applying visas and everything. Today, for today's program, we'll start off with the visa procedure.
Yeah. So before we come into the visa process, we have to complete the admission process with the university.
Right.
So basically, as we discussed in the previous program, we need to identify the program that we need to apply for, depending on your qualifications and other things, and your language proficiency and your previous education background. And then when we apply for the offer letter, also we should have the visa process in our mind. Right. And say, if someone wants to apply for a particular program, then we have to approach the university and we have to send the education documents certified by a notary public or lawyer. Then the admission department will evaluate your qualifications and then they will issue an offer letter. In certain cases, if you don't meet the requirements, say for example, if you don't have the IELTS or the English language proficiency level at the time when you make the application to the university, they might issue a conditional offer letter.
All right. So
while we are preparing the application, you can meet the condition, then you can get the unconditional offer letter. And next step is you have to reserve your place with the university. For that you need to make your payments to the university. And then once you make the payments, you get the confirmation of enrollment from the university. With that, we can apply for the visa. So when it comes to the visa, as I mentioned, you need to prepare your documents in accordance with their eligibility criteria. Mainly, you have to satisfy that you have the required qualification, IELTS or the English language proficiency, and the financials. And on top of that, you have to have certain documents to prove that you are a genuine
to prove the intention is genuine.
That you are a genuine student. In that, you have to show we usually use something called SOP. This is commonly known as SOP, statement of purpose.
Right.
So it's sort of a covering letter explaining your background and the reasons why you have decided to study in a particular country as opposed to another country. You have to do a little bit of a comparison.
Right.
Why have you chosen that, and also you have to explain the visa officer why you have decided to study abroad rather than using an opportunities available in your home country. So the benefits, because now you're going to spend maybe 3-4 times more than what you are spending in your home country. So you have to tell the visa officer why it is worth for you to spend that much of money for your foreign education. And you have to link what you have studied before and what you're going to study, and what is the connection between the previous studies and the future studies.
Right.
And also you have to show that how it's going to benefit you in the future. So for example, once you complete this particular program in a particular university or particular country, then you will get a better employment opportunity. You can show that you get a promotion, you can get a better employment opportunity with a higher salary, even might be in your home country, overseas. And also something that you need to address in the statement of purpose is that your immigration history. If you don't have immigration history, if you have not traveled, it's not an issue. But if you have been to another country and if you have overstayed or if you have violated immigration regulations, that can be a sort of a negative impact on your application. But if you have been to other countries, that of course will be a positive thing. But most of the students who are coming to us may not have traveled before that, but it won't be a problem.
Right. You can manage it.
You can manage it, and your circumstances in your country might also be a factor, and your personal circumstances can also be a factor, like your family background. Say for example, if someone is in age of 40 and if they have not studied before anything after A-levels, then visa officer might ask a question, why you suddenly decided to study. So are you trying to use the student visa program to go to that particular country. Rather than studying? That's why I said that your primary purpose, you might have some other purposes, but the primary purpose should be to study. Yeah. So when having a discussion about the general background, we sort out some benefits as well. So what are the benefits really there? Benefits are mainly, now you get an opportunity to study in a world renowned universities. Those qualifications are internationally accredited, and the facilities are at international level. Not only that, now when you study in a country like Australia, you get the opportunity to study with students from many different countries. So it's like you are working in a multinational environment, because you might get students from India, Russia, China, so different part of the culture. So it gives some spread, because now we are in a global world, and then if you want to move into a global employment or global business, then you get the idea about how people think and how they work, and I mean, of course, the way that people behave are different. Yeah, so it's a good opportunity. And one other main reason why people want to go abroad for their studies is to get the opportunity of working there and getting the permanent residency at the latest stage. So when it comes to settlement options, so we can discuss a little bit on that, because it is closely related.
Yes.
So as per your experience, how can you elaborate on the settlement options? Yeah, the system that we used to have like 10 years before has changed now, because previously when I was a student, we could have applied for the permanent residency or the migration immediately after our studies. That option is still available, but now what the countries are doing is they are giving an opportunity for the students to work there for a couple of years. Say if you study for 2-year program, master's level, or 3 years program in bachelor level, you will be given a 2 years work visa. The opportunities for you to apply whatever that you have learned in that particular country to the environment in that country. So then whatever that you have learned in your classroom, you can practice in that country. So, and when you can show that you have the capacity to secure an employment, or you can prove the visa officer that yes, I am now confident to settle in this country, I am familiar with the culture, work culture and other things, then they will give you an opportunity to apply for the permanent residency. The advantage is when you are there, rather than you can apply for the migration or permanent visas from Sri Lanka or your home country, we call it offshore applicants. So the visa system will be same, but when it comes to the visa officer and some of the criteria, they will help you, because they want to value the experience and the qualifications that you gain in their country. Say for example, for Australian migration, you need to have 65 points to qualify for the migration if you are applying from Sri Lanka. But you must have certain years of experience as well. But if you have studied in Australia, you get an exemption for your work experience requirement. You might not need to have work experience because you have completed your studies in Australia. And also when you try to reach the 65 points, you get 5 points for studying in Australia. Likewise in New Zealand, also Canada, other countries, if you study in their country, if you complete your qualification there, you get additional points towards the required points. And another advantage is if you in Australia, if you study in a particular state, the state government will prefer to sponsor you to get your permanent residency rather than to sponsor someone coming outside. Yeah. So then that will also add some points, and also some that will fast track the process. And also when you apply for the migration, Charit, there is an occupation list. So you have to nominate that my occupation is this, and then you have to match your qualification, work experience with that. But so the occupation list might be limited, but if you are onshore, the state governments, the provincial governments will sponsor you for some occupations which are not on the list.
Right.
So that will expand your opportunity to apply for the visa. Apart from that, now when you apply from Sri Lanka or offshore, the options are limited. You can apply for limited categories of visas. But if you are there, you have the option to go to an employer and talk to them. You just knock the door and say that I am qualified with this particular qualification. You can show your colors and get the sponsorship from an employer. And there are so many other visa options when you are there, which is not available if you are offshore.
That means if you are offshore, the opportunities are limited in the sense, like if a particular list contains 10 options, we can just expand it, sometimes double it there. And the certain local governments and other companies and certain other employers, they do help us to expand those
and
things.
Also you have other opportunities to improve your points. Say for example, one example is, say if you complete your master's or PhD degrees by research in certain areas like in science, maths or ICT, you get more points. So they always encourage them to come to their home country and then their country and then to study there, because then you study something relevant to their contest. And then you get the experience in their contest. So that will help you to settle there smoothly rather than they are taking someone from Sri Lanka or other countries for their jobs.
So we discuss about a student genuinely proving his or her intention and going to a foreign country, studying there and seeking employment opportunities and might be settling afterwards. So when it comes to a graduate, so directly seeking employment of a foreign country, is the application procedure different?
Yeah, very good question, because I need to tell that in Australia there is an option for engineering graduates in Sri Lanka. If someone has completed Washington Accord accredited engineering program in Sri Lanka within last 2 years, and if the applicant is age below 31, they have a graduate work visa option in Australia. So that is available to students from University of Moratuwa, University of Peradeniya, University of Ruhuna. So soon after their completion of their studies in engineering, in any stream, civil, mechanical, chemical, whatever, they can apply for a graduate work visa for 18 months. While that's a work visa option, so there is no restriction on the number of hours or that you can work. Either you can study or you can work. If you work, you can earn some money. And again, all other options for your permanent residence are also available with that visa.
Right, it is a good opportunity. So other than engineering graduates, what are the other exposures for the graduates?
That is actually a specialized program which was not available to Sri Lankans, but last 3 years it is available to Sri Lankans also. But other students, what they can do is, if they are soon after graduation, they can't apply for the migration, because you need to have certain years of experience. For example, IT graduate, say if you have 5 years experience, they will deduct 2 years, because the Australian Computer Society is the assessment authority for IT professionals. They want you to have 2 years of active employment to bring you to that skill level that they expect. So they deduct 2 years from your total work experience. So immediate graduates, the best option is to move for a master's degree.
Right, so moving for a master's degree, how it differs from the ordinary context that we spoke?
There are different masters. You can either specialize in something that you have done. Say if you are an IT professional, you can specialize in IT masters, or there are options available like MBA programs, or there are something called very interesting conversion programs. Say if you are from a law graduate, and if you want to expand your knowledge in business areas, the conversion programs will help you to do that. So if you are from a non-accounting background, you can do a conversion program with accounting graduation. So then that will help you to, they have designed these programs to address their labor market requirements. They, after surveying the labor market, they will identify that the certain areas have a skill shortage. So to fill that the vacuum, they invite the graduates from other backgrounds to get a knowledge within a shorter period. Say if you are going to study be an accountant, you have to study for 3 years.
Right.
But with the conversion program, or even in IT or business accountancy, you can convert your degree or your profession to another different area in 2 years period.
2 years period. A specialized program.
A specialized program.
So any graduate from Sri Lanka who have completed their basic degree, or any graduate who have completed their in that respective country involved in that conversion programs.
Yes.
So is there any basic advantages for Sri Lankans who have done their studies here for those conversion programs especially?
Yeah, as I said, now the conversion programs are available for any majors or any streams that even if you do social sciences, still you can go for a ICT program or accountancy program. So
no need to be closely related.
In that case, no. You don't need to, but still you have to show that yes, I have, say, even if you have done social science, you might have done some economic subjects, which is a little bit related, or you can show that the need is there, because I have done my bachelor's in social sciences, but I have understood that opportunities are available in business sector than this. With this qualification, my basic bachelor degree, the knowledge that I have gained from my basic knowledge bachelor degree will be strengthened. So if you can prove some link, then of course it's fine.
So for each and everything we have to prove our genuine
interest. It has to
interest.
be a customized SOP explaining your reasons, your own reasons.
Statement of purpose.
Statement of purpose.
So when it comes to those areas, we discuss about the application procedure, seeking opportunities, and even the visa procedure. And one of the major concerns is that although we have money and all those requirements, some parents might be reluctant to send their students abroad without considering the safety and the other consequences. So how can you comment on that?
Yeah, so far we have no complaints or anything, because as we know that law and order is established in those countries, and also the reputation of the international education is very important for the economy. So they won't do anything that harm to their business. So the laws are in place to protect the security of the gender equality. Even if you go in the town in the night, you will be protected. So all the rights are protected. So
for the students who go there to that respective country under the student visa program, they have certain rights they exercise. That means that they are not exposed to certain other difficulties, threats and everything. So they have the proper background.
Yeah, they are also equally recognized. You know, so even if you apply, unless it is some very sensitive areas like defense or other areas, the job opportunities are open to everyone. And even when it comes to the employment, if someone employs a foreign graduate, that he should also be paid the equal salary as an Australian or other person. Yeah.
Right. So there are no any differences when it comes to those employment opportunities. Might be from a different country, they offer as their ordinary citizens.
Yes.
Right. So when it comes to this procedure, we discuss about the safety and security of those areas, and any important thing that the students have to consider before going abroad is that what I feel and most of the students prefer is that there are some we can just, when, for example, as we discussed, when seeking an opportunity, we can just surf the website of the relevant government or relevant university. But when it comes to local institutions, to provide that support, we need to have some sort of a recognition. How can we understand that this institution is genuine one?
Local ones.
Local ones.
The one way is you have to check with the UGC, University Grant Commission. If they have listed it as an accredited program, yes, fine. And then if you are going to study for a medical programs, you have to check with the Sri Lankan Medical Council whether that particular program is accredited, because our medicine programs are 5 years, 6 years, and after 6 years time, if the government says that your qualification is not valid, then you won't be able to practice. And the other thing is, most of the local institutions are claiming that they are accredited partners of the particular university in the foreign country. So don't rely on the word that the local institution is giving. Cross-check it with the university that you are going to, the main university. So if the university website can confirm or if they have listed this particular local institution is registered or accredited, it's fine. Or if not, you can directly communicate with the international office of the that particular university and ask whether this particular local institution is accredited. Yeah, so that is very important before you make any
any payments or any other proceedings, right? Okay, so with that most important answer with regard to the safety and security when it comes to local institutions, we can assure the credibility of the information and the procedure that we are applying for, right? So with regard to these immigration and study options and even settlements, we discussed one of the most important area, and we were able to discuss most important areas as well. And thank you very much, sir, for joining with us with today's program. We're going to do one of more continuation of facts and certain other consequences with regard to the foreign study options. And thank you very much once again. And this is Law and Order program, where we discuss most important and insightful topics to give you a thorough understanding about the general issues without making it a trouble for your future progress. So thank you very much for watching. Have a pleasant day and stay tuned with Law and Order.